Hello, my friends. I'm Dr. Steve Nugent. It's my privilege to be able to bring to you new information about Manitech's new TruHealth system. I want you to remember before I start these important words, that TruHealth begins with healthy body composition. We at Manitech have started a whole new way to look at fat loss, and we're not going to talk about weight loss anymore. In fact, with the new TruHealth system, we are going to change the weight loss industry globally. You see, weight loss is not really an effective way to gauge any change in your health, because when you stand on the scale, it can't really tell you anything except how much you weigh. It can't tell you how much of your body is muscle, or fat, or bone. So scale weight is really not the right way to go, and we really shouldn't be talking about weight loss. What we will be talking about is body composition improvement, or BCI. Now that's very different from what you've heard before, but then Manitech is the company that does things differently. We are the company of innovation, and certainly we are going to innovate this area of health. You know, excess body fat can be linked to as many as 43 different areas of health. This means that losing excess body fat while you improve your muscle mass is extremely important to your overall health. And this really is the foundation of the TruHealth system. Well, back in 2015, I became the first scientist in the world to publish on body composition improvement through the Body Composition Improvement Index. And I did a study on nearly 4,000 people. That's a lot of data. We compared scale weight and body mass index, the old BMI that everybody knows about, against BCI. And guess what we found? We found that BMI is about as useless as scale weight. In fact, it's consistently inaccurate. Well, I suppose it's good that it's consistent, but it is consistently inaccurate. BMI is simply a ratio of how tall you are to how much you weigh on the scale. Well, when you're on a weight loss plan, you're probably not going to change how tall you are. So then really, BMI is just a fancy way to tell you how much you weigh, and that doesn't tell you anything about your body composition. What we want to know is how much fat you lose, not just overall fat, but also visceral fat. That's very important. And will you be able to at least maintain, but optimally increase your muscle mass, because muscle mass is metabolically active, and of course, at least maintain, if not increase, your bone mass. So when I'm talking about body composition, that's what I mean. That's what we need to look for. So the TruHealth system has 5 parts. There are 3 products, and then there are 2 things that you do. Let's talk first about fat mass and muscle mass. Okay? Most people don't think too much about that, but I want you to look at the picture right now and see that a kilo of fat and a kilo of muscle are very different. Now, the weight is the same, and again, that's the problem with scale weight and the problem with BMI. Because the amount of space that the fat takes up is significantly more than the muscle. Muscle is about 20% more dense than fat per centimeter. So this means the more fat you have, well, the bigger you are. And the more muscle you have, you will weigh more on the scale, but you'll be slimmer and leaner and healthier. So we want to keep in mind that muscle mass up, fat mass down, that's what we're looking for. If you look at this picture of 2 men who are the same height and the same weight, you will see that they have the same BMI. Now in this case, each of these 2 men is approximately 180 centimeters and approximately 100 kilos in weight. This means that they both have a BMI of 30.7, and that means they're both obese according to BMI. But as you look at the picture, you can very clearly see that one man is obese, the other man is obviously not. This is the problem with BMI, this is the problem with scale weight, and this is why we are doing BCI, because it's body composition that counts, not how much you weigh. In fact, here's the trend that you can expect on the TruHealth system. At first, almost everyone is going to lose significant scale weight. That's pretty normal. At some point, as your muscle mass is beginning to increase, your scale weight loss stops or you plateau. Now, you haven't failed. In fact, you are doing very well because muscle mass, remember, is about 20% more dense per centimeter than fat mass is. So it weighs more per centimeter. So this means at some point you are going to stop losing weight on the scale. Now, as your muscle mass continues to increase and your fat mass continues to decrease, your scale weight will go up rather than down. You haven't failed. You are succeeding in a big way because you are improving your body composition. That's what we're after. Not weight loss, not even fat loss, but to improve your body composition. That's what we're looking for. And that is where TruHealth begins, with healthy body composition. Let's talk first about the three products in the TruHealth system. There is the TruPlenish Shake. It's called TruPlenish because it is a meal replacement and it is meant to replenish those nutrients that may be missing in your diet. Second, there's a product called TruPure. Now that is a very fine and very effective herbal detoxification system. And then we have the TruShape capsules. These are the three products in the system, but each product actually has individual function. In fact, if you were to use only the TruPlenish Shake and follow the two things you do, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, you will succeed. Now, you may not succeed quite as fast as if you use TruShape and TruPure, but you will still succeed. The TruPlenish Shake is a meal replacement that stands on its own. Now, that's very important. Well, let's talk then a little more about the TruPlenish Shake. The concept of meal replacement means that you've supplied sufficient nutrition to replace one full, healthy meal. Well, the average meal, it depends per country, it depends per individual, the kinds of foods that you eat and so on. But generally speaking, we're looking around 700 calories. It takes 7,700 calories to make 1 extra kilogram of body fat. Or, if you look at the other way around, it takes the loss of 7,700 calories to lose 1 kilo of body fat. All right, with the average meal being somewhere around 700 calories, and of course some people eat much more depending on the type of food that you choose, especially if those foods are high glycemic, and some people even as much as 2,000 calories at a meal. Oof. Well, it takes time to put the fat on. It takes a lot more time to take the fat off. It's a lot more difficult. By using the TruPlenish meal replacement shake at 160 calories in water or 230 calories in low-fat milk, you are saving so many calories. And the key here is that you are getting a full meal replacement. This is food. It's a full meal. This is the vitamins and the minerals that your body requires. One of the great benefits of this is the fact that you know exactly what you're consuming. If you were to go to your favorite restaurant, pay any price you wish, buy any kind of food you wish, you will never know for certain what you're getting in that food. You will never know for certain how much vitamin, how much mineral, how much fiber. You can't know. With the TruPlenish Shake, you know precisely what you're consuming. And I believe it will be the healthiest meal you will have all day long. Now, in the TruPlenish system, in the beginning, when you're working to achieve your new body composition, not how much you weigh, your new body composition, what you'll be doing is replacing 2 meals per day with the TruPlenish Shake. That's a savings of a lot of calories. The TruPlenish shake tastes pretty darn good. It is completely natural in terms of the sweeteners involved, the colors and the scent and so on, all of its natural source. Now this is very, very important. It tastes good. You're getting the vitamins and minerals you need at only 160 calories in water, that's the way I do it, or in low-fat milk, that's your choice, you can do it either way. And you know exactly what's going into your body, you know exactly how much you're saving, and the huge bonus here is 20 grams of protein. 20 grams of vegan-friendly protein. This formula is vegan-friendly, and that's a bonus too. It's non-GMO, or no genetically modified organisms involved, depending on how they say it in different countries. And there are no allergens in here. So there's no soy, there's no dairy, no allergens of any kind. And this is another major benefit to the program. But the 20 grams of protein, this is super important. You see, in order to make new muscle mass, you have to eat a certain amount of protein. Just to retain your muscle mass, you've got to take in sufficient protein or you'll begin to lose muscle mass. Common on diets that have been studied around the world is loss of muscle mass. Now, whether this is a standard weight loss program or various types of fat loss programs, it is very common to lose at least 50% of each kilo in scale weight as muscle, not fat. Well, the more muscle you lose, of course, the faster the scale weight goes down and the more excited people get. But that's not a good thing. You don't want to lose muscle because muscle is healthy tissue. Fat is not. We want the fat off and the muscle up. That's what we're looking for. So then, with the 20 grams of protein provided, you now have additional protein to help you maintain muscle at the minimum. And if you add physical activity with sufficient protein intake, then you'll begin to increase muscle. The more muscle you have, the more you'll be able to eat without regaining the fat. This is a huge benefit. So we want you to have sufficient protein, and you do have sufficient protein in this very tasty, very healthy shake. So that's the foundation, 2 meals a day, as you are trying to achieve your new body composition. Once you have achieved your body composition, your maintenance will be 1 meal replacement per day. And again, you'll do it the same way you choose. In my particular case, I put my ambertose powder in there in the morning. I put my manipole powder in there in the morning. So I do that all mixed together with each of my shakes. It's a great way to take your glyconutrients as well. When you're on maintenance, I want you to think about this. This is not a quick fix. This is not some kind of gimmicky weight loss program. I want you to think about this as a lifestyle change. You change your life the day you start this system. And you're going to continue this lifestyle change the rest of your life so that you can have the best quality of life and hopefully the longest possible life by being as healthy as you possibly can with your body composition. So think about this 1 shake a day being part of the rest of your life with TruHealth system support to maintain that healthy body composition. Okay, product number 2 is the True Pure Herbal Detoxification product. Now, this is a very efficient herbal detox. It's a very complex product too. When you look at the label, you're going to see it's a very complex list of various types of herbals and other nutrients that help your body to cleanse. I want to be clear for this. There are a lot of companies out there that have marketed programs that they say, if you detox, you'll lose fat. Well, that's not quite correct. You see, fat cells store water. They can also store toxin. It is possible, as you are converting stored body fat into energy, that you may release this toxin into your bloodstream. Now, your brain there are a number of mechanisms that want to make sure that you're as healthy as you can be. If it detects a lot of toxin in your bloodstream, well, it may stop you from converting stored body fat into energy. Well, we don't want that to happen. So we would like you to use your True Pure herbal detoxification product as directed. Now, the directions are different in every country, and I know with the internet you'll be looking at this and that in different countries. Personally, I take one slim stick each day. That's what I do. And in fact, it's very safe with this product. That's the way we formulated this product, so that one slim stick should be safe to use every day of your life, the rest of your life if you wish. We do live on a toxic planet after all, and in fact, it could be beneficial to take one stick every day the rest of your life, whether you're on this program or not. In addition to that, the third product is the True Shape capsule. Now, the purpose of True Shape is to, well, help you improve your shape. And this is a thermogenic. Thermogenic very simply means to heat or to burn. What we want to do with a thermogenic product is to help you convert stored body fat into energy. You see, a calorie is a measurement of heat. And what we want to do is heat up the metabolism to help you convert the stored calories into energy. Of course, fat is there for one purpose only, and that is to store calories just in case you might starve to death. Well, that's a very ancient mechanism that we don't need anymore. Unfortunately, we still have it. So with this in mind, the thermogenic is there to help you heat up your system and help you convert stored body fat into energy. Now, you can, once again, do very well on the True Plenish Shake and diet modification and physical activity if you don't have True Pure or True Shape as part of your program. But if you really want accelerated results, I would use all three products. That's really the fastest, most efficient way to go. The thermogenic product gives you thermogenesis without the buzz because we haven't put any stimulants in it. It's a whole new approach to thermogenesis. All the other companies always give you some sort of stimulant, get you all shaky and wired up. Well, we don't want to do that. We want this to be as healthy as possible, but still be effective. And that's the way this product works. So those are the three products. Well, there are also two things that you do. The two things that you do are going to be diet modification and physical activity. Now, in some countries, the regulators will say you have to use the word exercise. And so in some countries, as you look at this around the internet in all the Manatech countries, you may see some literature that says exercise and some that says activity. But I'm going to use the word activity. Why? Because activity has a positive connotation and exercise has a negative connotation. And let's face it, you say the word exercise and everybody goes, ooh, exercise. Don't want to do that. That's painful. It's boring. I don't want to go to the gym. And you don't have to. All you have to do is increase your physical activity. Activities can be fun, can't they? One of my favorite activities is dancing. If you like to dance, that's a great activity. And there are all kinds of dances so that you can change different stimulation to different muscles at different times and have fun in the process. Physical activity doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be boring. It can be fun. You choose the activity that you want. It may be something as simple as walking every day. It's interesting. I have a new watch that every hour it tells me it's time to stand up. It's a little fitness thing that happens with it. Well, if you're sitting all the time at your desk, as many people are these days, and you suddenly stand up for 1 minute, you've now increased your activity 100%, haven't you? So, don't think about this as some sort of terrible drudgery. Activity can be fun. It's very important that you choose the activity that you can do and will do realistically, consistently from now on. This is very, very important. If you kind of go crazy, as so many people do, for instance, January 1st of every year, and people say, well, my New Year's resolution is to lose weight. And they go out and they buy a gym membership and they work really hard. They get themselves all sore and painful and they quit. I don't want you to do that. Choose an activity that you know you can do safely and that you will do consistently. Consistency is so important to your success. Walking, tennis, swimming, bicycling, dancing, whatever you want to do, make sure it's consistent. And in your daily activities, if you have a choice between walking up the stairs or taking the lift, take the stairs. If you have a choice between parking very close to the door at the store or the office or parking far out in the parking lot, park far out. Walk a little bit. This is a conscious thing that you'll start to do as early as you can. It doesn't have to be drudgery, doesn't have to be painful. It can actually be fun, but you need to do it. It needs to be consistent. Now let's talk briefly about the diet. Well, all kinds of diets out there, and you've heard about low fat and low cal and the all peach diet and the all soup diet. Forget all that nonsense. I'm going to talk to you about science. The science of glycemic indexing. Now this is a science that actually started back in 1976, but got very little acceptance before about 2005. Now the science is very clear, very, very clear, that for human beings, I don't care what your metabolic type is, doesn't matter. Whereas metabolic types do matter, whether you would choose low cal or low fat, doesn't matter with low glycemic. Low glycemic is the healthiest way for everyone to eat. Everyone. So it's not a question about what diet should I do. We know what diet you should do. Low glycemic. Now, glycemic indexing began with only information about the glycemic index. Now we have information about something called the glycemic load, which is a much more accurate way for you to choose your foods. It's not difficult. I know it sounds foreign and maybe too scientific, but it's really not difficult. The glycemic index is basically a measurement of how fast your blood sugar goes up when you eat a given food. The glycemic load then is the impact of your sugar going up very fast. Let me explain to you basically how this works, how you make body fat or lose body fat. If you eat a food which has carbohydrate content, it will raise your blood sugar to some extent, unless, of course, it's balanced against sufficient fiber, protein, or fat. I'll explain that in a moment. So, going to the idea of raising your blood sugar when you eat a food. So let's say you eat a pastry of some type, okay? Your blood sugar goes up pretty fast. And when it does, that's measured by what's called the glycemic index. So quite literally, the test subject's blood is drawn before they eat the pastry. Then they have them eat the pastry, give it time to digest, and they test their blood sugar again at 2 hours, 4 hours, and 6 hours. And that's the index number. So that's the how fast the blood glucose has gone up. All right. Now, the glycemic load then is the impact. Well, how's the impact? What are we talking about here? When your blood sugar goes up fast, then your pancreas creates a hormone called insulin. The insulin goes up to grab the blood sugar and bring it down to normal. That's the purpose of insulin. Well, there's another hormone involved that you may never have heard of before, and that's called glucagon. Glucagon is there to decide whether or not what you eat is stored as fat or converted as energy. When the insulin spikes, the glucagon mechanism says, oops, what you've just eaten will be stored as fat. Whereas, if the insulin doesn't spike, the glucagon mechanism says, what you've eaten can be converted as energy and little or none stored as fat. That's what you want. That's what the glycemic index is all about. It's that simple. It's really not so much about calories or fat, for that matter. Fat grams are simply a way to measure calories because fat is very calorie dense. In fact, it's the most calorie dense of all of the food groups: protein, fat, carbohydrate. Fat is the most calorie dense. So then, fat grams or low-fat dieting is simply a measure of calories. The problem with low-fat dieting is that most low-fat foods are high glycemic, and they tend to cause the glucagon mechanism to say what you've just eaten should be stored as fat. So literally, people go on low-fat diets and gain fat as a result. That's certainly not your goal. But with low glycemic, you lose fat, and that is the goal. So then, the glycemic load is how we're going to choose our food. There right now is an international table which has been, this is published science, this has been agreed upon by scientists from all over the world, by testing human beings, testing their blood sugar when they eat given foods. There are at this time in the 2008 table nearly 2,000 foods for you to take a look at. Now you're going to have no problem at all when you look at this guideline and you'll see, oh, I understand this kind of food is high glycemic load, that kind of food is low glycemic load. And you should be able to choose this just fine all on your own. We're also going to supply you with information, of course, that supports you in this and further educates you in this, just in case you have more questions. It really is pretty darn simple. If you choose a food that has a low glycemic load and you've increased your physical activity and you're using the TruPlenish system, you will succeed. And remember, our goal, improving body composition, not weight loss, not even fat loss, improving body composition. That's the goal. I might also recommend to you that you begin your program by getting something called a DEXA scan. So capital letters D-E-X-A, DEXA. That is the gold standard for body composition measurement. Your doctor probably doesn't know that. Your doctor is trained to think that the DEXA machine is there only to measure bone density. It does that beautifully, in fact, more accurately than anything else known. But it also automatically scans you for percent muscle mass, percent fat mass, and percent visceral fat mass. It scans that automatically. Your doctor probably doesn't know that. In most countries, DEXA does not require a prescription. You can go and get it yourself, and it's not that expensive. You establish your baseline of your true percent body fat, visceral fat, muscle mass, and bone density. You'll have it all from that scan. Every 6 months or so, you can return and get another scan, and you'll be amazed at your positive progress on this. This is quite amazing for you. You're going to love it. In the meantime, in between, you'll use a tape measure, and you'll measure your results. Because remember, that extra fat takes up a lot of space. Muscle mass takes up very little space. So even as muscle mass is going up in terms of scale weight, as fat mass is going down, your body is looking better all the time. You're just getting slimmer and trimmer and sexier all the time. And that's your goal. So that's what you're going to do with the 5-part TruHealth system. Now let's talk a little bit about building your business with TruHealth. You're going to have a unique opportunity, not just to be able to give the most new and innovative system in the so-called area of weight loss. Remember, it's not really weight loss. We're talking about body composition improvement. But you're going to have the unique opportunity to be able to offer a product that saves money and improves health. Think about that. That's completely different probably than anything you've ever done before. Now, the TruPlenish Shake is a meal replacement system. As I said before, you know exactly how much nutrition you're getting in each meal. The vitamins and minerals you need, you know for sure that you've got them. And 20 grams of vegan-friendly protein. Huge value for only the equivalent of $3.93 US. Keep that in mind. What a value that is. But keep that in mind. Now, what we did in Dallas, Texas, is we did a survey of just average, everyday people. And we asked them, do you eat on the way to work? Do you stop off at a restaurant to eat on the way to work? Do you go out to eat at lunchtime? And if so, How much do you spend? What kinds of foods do you buy? Where do you go? And how much do you spend? Now, this is pretty interesting. Most of these people were quite shocked when they totaled the monthly expense, because people don't think about that. They think about how much they spend per meal at that moment. But then we started totaling the monthly expense. It seems that the average person we interviewed was spending about $243 US per month for breakfast on their way to work. Now that's a lot. People don't think about it that way. And the average person was spending about $356 US per month on lunch. Now when you total these numbers, you're up to very close to $600 US per month. That's a lot of money. Everybody has a food budget, right? I mean, everyone has to eat. And now we're talking about replacing nearly $600 a month with the healthiest meal you're going to have all day. Now, when you do this at only $3.93 per meal, remember that's US dollars, so you make the conversion for your currency. When you do this, here's what you're going to save. According to the survey that we did, we found that the average person was going to save about $364 US per month. Now think about this as a business builder. What you've had to do in the past is say, this is what I think you should have, and these are the best products, and you know what, it's going to cost you this much. Now you can say, this is a new innovative system with a whole new approach to body composition improvement, not just weight loss. And you're going to have the healthiest meals you'll possibly have all day. As you are improving your body composition, as you're improving your health, as you're improving the way you look and feel, and by the way, by buying this system, you can potentially save hundreds per month. My friends, what person would say no to that? Who would say no to being able to eat so healthy, to change their body composition in the healthiest possible way? And if I may say, the sexiest possible way, as you're trimming out and that body fat's going off and that muscle mass is coming on, looking and feeling so much better, and saving hundreds per month? Who would say no to that? It's much easier, in terms of psychology, to sell something that somebody already wants than it is to try and sell something that, well, maybe they don't even understand. You know, we've been the optimal health company. We are the glyconutrient company. Make no mistake about that, and we will always be. But sometimes that's a tough sell. The average person never heard of glyconutrients before. And if they've heard of them, you've got kind of a tough job trying to explain to them what they are and what the benefits are and why they should have them. Here, it's very simple. In some countries, as many as 75% of the adult population of the entire country needs to lose excess body fat. Almost everybody could benefit from improving muscle mass. Literally, the majority of the world population could benefit from improving their body composition. So here you have a system. This is something that people want already. They're buying this stuff all over the world. One of the biggest categories of sales in nutrition is so-called weight loss. It's the easiest thing to sell. It's the easiest way to succeed. And now you can not only feel confident, you can feel so good in your heart because you will be bringing the best possible science and technology, the latest available technology with the latest concepts in body composition improvement backed by the newest, most solid science. And they can save money in the process. Who would say no to that? This is the easiest way to build your business of anything you have ever tried before. In the U.S., we launched this system in April of 2016. And in 2 months, sales were up more than $2 million US. Right now, as I'm making this video, approximately 1/3 of all U.S. Manitech sales have converted to TruHealth. Why? Because it's the easiest way to build your business. It is so easy. People want this, and it's so easy to sell something that somebody already wants. You give them the answers that they're looking for with the best science and technology. They save money, they have results, they have the best science. How can you lose? Folks, this is the right way to build your business. This is the easy way to lead in. And you know what? As people succeed, it develops a sense of trust. Part of your success long-term in your business is to establish trust and confidence with your customers. Nothing builds trust better than having success with the products that you represent. So as they improve their body composition, they're feeling better, they're looking better, their friends are saying to them, "Hey, what have you been doing? There's some real changes in your body." And they say, "Yeah, it's this TruHealth stuff I get from Manitech." Suddenly, you have new customers. You have new customers you hadn't even thought about, hadn't even planned on. They're coming to you. This is good stuff. And this is going to continue to grow for you so easy as one person sees their friend, their neighbor, their relative. They say, "Wow, what have you been doing? You're looking pretty good." "Oh yeah, it's this TruHealth stuff I get from Manitech." Gosh, this is so easy. This is so good. Let me talk to you briefly about meetings, okay? If you've been in this business for any length of time, then you know that meetings drive our business. There's no question about that. It's important to have consistent human contact because our business is a relationship business. You need to establish a relationship with your new customers and build that trust and confidence. That's what keeps them in your business. That's retention. And retention is at least as important as recruiting. So this is a very, very important idea. Here's what I suggest. I think you should have a meeting once a week. Now, the best meeting is a physical meeting where you can shake hands, hug each other, see each other face to face. Sometimes that's not convenient because of your geography. It's just too far away. All right, so now you'll have a webinar, or there are various new systems out there that can allow you to have a meeting via video and telephone at the same time, or video and the internet at the same time, or simply a telephone conference. But it's important to maintain contact every 7 days or once a week. The ideal way to do this with TruHealth is to have TruHealth meetings once a week. You pick the day and you pick the place. Maybe when your meetings are small in the beginning, you'll have TruHealth meetings in people's homes. That's okay. And you may have 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 people come. But here's sort of the concept around the meeting. What you want to do at each meeting is, first, you want to have recognition. Now, this is very important. You know, people really need recognition. It is a basic human need. And some people need it so bad, there's a saying that people will die for recognition. Well, it's almost the case. So here's what you want to do. Before the meeting, you get your leadership together and all the people that you know are on the plan. Now you find a place that's private because it's important to have privacy. That's basic respect and courtesy to people. Find a place that's private, do your measurements, all right? And measure the important points on the body. Don't weigh yourself. Remember, how much you weigh is irrelevant. It has absolutely no bearing on your body composition. Okay, it's consistently wrong, consistently inaccurate. So you want to measure yourself at the key points. Now you've done your measurements. Now you're going to know how many of your, say, 5 or 6 people on the plan, or how many people you have on the plan in your group, have had the greatest success. Now, perhaps your recognition is something as simple as a blue ribbon that maybe you pin on. The item that you give them is not as important as the recognition itself. The psychology is important here. So then, you get them up on stage, or if it's not a stage, you have a home, then you do it just in front of everybody. And that person is recognized. Who had the greatest number of centimeters lost this week? Well, it's Sally. Yay, Sally. And make sure that Sally is awarded whatever you do, your blue ribbon that you pin out, or whatever you're going to do. This recognition is extremely important because people want to be recognized for their efforts, and everyone else in the room is going to want to be that next person who gets recognized for their efforts. You'll plan this out for yourself based on the size of your group and based on the venue that you're doing this in, but you understand the concept. At the meeting, you're going to have guests who will come. Why? Because they're going to want to know why their friend, their neighbor, their relative is having such great success with positive changes in their body composition. They want to know. So they bring their friends, neighbors, and relatives with them to the meeting. So you now have a meeting for retention, and you also have a meeting for recruiting simultaneously. This is pretty smart because the people are sitting in the audience, they're guests. Now they're going to watch the recognition. They see people succeeding, not just their friend, neighbor, or relative, but the other folks in the group succeeding as well. This is important. Now you have the opportunity to talk a bit about the TruHealth system, and I might suggest that you give out a recipe or two, which is low glycemic, because you want people to know that they can eat tasty foods. They can have fun with glycemic indexing. It's not some kind of terrible sacrifice that they have to make, all right? Because there are a lot of delicious low glycemic recipes that you don't even know about yet. You do these things in combination. This meeting serves as recruiting, as training, as retention. You do it once a week, you cannot lose. And your recruiting will go up almost by itself as people are watching the progress of their friends, neighbors, and relatives. Folks, TruHealth is the vehicle for you to change your business in a way that you probably hadn't really dreamed of. This is the easiest way to build. It's the easiest way to retain. And remember, you can potentially help people in as many as 43 different ways with their health, because there are as many as 43 different areas that are related to excess body fat. This is a win-win situation. You can't go wrong. So I strongly recommend that all of you use the TruHealth system as your lead. That's the way you expand your Manitech family. And yes, to me it is a family, a global family. You can expand your global family so fast. Once they're in the family, they trust you because they have success. They trust our products because they have success. They trust our company because they have success. Now you can introduce them to Ambritose and Manipul and so many other important Manitech products. But first, establish that relationship. Establish that human contact, that confidence, that trust. That's what's going to make your business grow and keep on growing. That's my recommendation. So I want you to all have the greatest success with TruHealth. I know you will if you do the system as directed. Thanks for tuning in, folks.